Okay, so in this clip I would like to discuss aspergers, my journey to it, why it's important. I was born with Asperger syndrome. It is genetically passed on via my maternal side. To be clear, nobody else in my family has the condition, nor autism, nor any of the related conditions. This is particularly difficult because my grandmother definitely had it, and I saw the things in her. But that is looking back, and she is long dead. Now, Asperger's is a mild form of autism, extremely mild to the point of late diagnosis. By late, I mean in an adult form. Some people are 40, 50 plus and diagnosed. Now, I have tried to be a support to people with Asperger's because of the process that it was to go through the diagnosis and to go through my formative years on the spectrum and not even know that I was, and to know that something was up. Now, when I knew that something was up, I couldn't communicate with people that I knew something was up. The other condition I was diagnosed with was epilepsy, which is more understood. My journey to that condition was started in 1999. When I was old enough to know what a seizure was, except that my mother did not know that I knew what a seizure was. So I would tell her that I was having seizures. She would ask me if I was having a headache. Thinking I was describing a migraine. Now, I knew instinctively that I was having seizures, but it would be about 18 months before my mother would realize that I was having seizures. They started in the 90s. The late 90s even, knowingly. And I would wake myself up. And just go straight into a seizure. for weeks at end, I wouldn't have one, and then I would have a repeat. Sometimes I would have 2 in one night. But my mother would always tell me, when I told her I had a seizure, come and get me when you're having one, which, for those who know what a seizure is, knows that the last thing you can do in a seizure is actually walk. So epilepsy is also a symptom of aspergers. Along with things like depression, anxiety. Along with being unable to form lasting friendships. I don't even recall one that's lasted my lifetime. With one person. A high divorce rate is also a factor. Along with being on a constant battle of employment, trying to find a job and being unable to find a job, being unable to present yourself in a way that is acceptable. So you might end up doing casual jobs all of your life. Or if you get a full-time job, you will find people who don't understand you. And so, eventually, this will cost you that job. You might like the job, but people in that job make that job impossible. So I was the container clerk for about 2 years, and I did enjoy myself in that role. I was okay at it, wasn't particularly good, didn't get better because people just put me down. That's what I found with Aspergers. Even those who live with Aspergers or autism think they can put me down too. And some people think I use it as an excuse. Be upfront with that one. It is an excuse, but it's also a reason. And it's a stronger reason than most people actually realize. It is nothing new. I felt odd at about age 5, and I think I've said that in a previous video somewhere, but I did take all my videos down. Now, when you live with Asperger's syndrome, it really is a struggle to find an interest. So you also have limited interest. Or perhaps limiting interests. You're not the most coordinated either, so that doesn't help you. Your gross motor skills take a little while to develop, and even then, the mockery starts. the bullying begins. And when the bullying begins, the bullying doesn't stop. This is the private and personal part of, or aspects of life, that people don't realise does actually exist. And just because the vast majority of people on the spectrum aren't Christian, shall we say, or aren't even interested in Christianity, they think that gives them the right to oppose Christianity and to impose their belief on others, or their lack of belief, I should say. And there are many channels that are devoted to autism. I wanted this to be different. I want to come across as perfectly normal and perfectly acceptable. Christianity is supposed to be a religion which changes you, molds you into a different person. As you realize, some slowly, some faster than others, that God is needed. An explanation for the beginning of the world is needed. Atheism doesn't come at that. Agnosticism doesn't come at that. Which means religions fill the gap, shall we say. And because I am a Christian, that's another problem for people. And frankly, I could care less about the labels within Christianity. And some of the people who claim to be in Christianity. But this is not a targeting clip, and I have never tried to be a person who targeted, because I've been bullied enough times to understand that bullying is not appreciated and unwelcomed. It's also unnecessary. Bullying is controlling others. Bullying is taking one person and targeting them, making their life a misery, which my life has been. For the most part, that continues. I just want to be upfront and honest with that. The Aspie doesn't know how to fight back. I want to give them tools to fight back. I want to give them weapons. I want to give them skill sets to say that you can do something. You can achieve goals. You can set goals. You can get in the door. You can discover knowledge. The Bible says fools die for lack of knowledge. I believe that's Solomon. And he was one of the wisest men who ever lived, who was led astray by his wives because of the political marriages he had to have and had to maintain as the king of Israel, and perhaps the wisest man ever to have lived, because when God asked him for money, power, position, he asked for wisdom. And this is something that is in far short supply today. So we must get this back, and we must understand. And we seek to be different and accepted at the same time. That's where Christianity comes in for me. Because my Creator has made it possible for me to have a relationship with Him. And it is a Him. God has set me apart, and if I don't get through to people, then I'm okay with that. I'm not here to win arguments. I'm not here to ride roughshod on anyone, or to force a view down the people's throats. But apparently, the other side, or the sides, didn't get that memo. I don't believe in cussing or swearing. I don't believe that's appropriate. So I do believe that the Bible is God's authority. And I do believe that the Bible tells us we must control our tongue, control our speech, control our language. God gives you a brain. We're somehow supposed to use it. An atheist is stuck for an explanation for a beginning because it doesn't have one. Its beginning story is completely unknown. Others piggyback off the Bible to say it's some form of intelligent design, but it's not God. Others will try to say that there is no such thing as good and evil. But this is false too. If good exists, then there must be evil. And they both must have standards. Before this goes too long, I will say, in the words of the cult, Edie, ciao, baby.